Hello everyone, my name is Jacinta Ezabikwa. I'm the founder of Evergreen Digital Tech Solution. Welcome to today's training. At Evergreen Digital Tech Solution, we specialize in virtual training on tech skills such as data analysis and virtual assistants. This means location is not a barrier. You can learn with us from anywhere in the world. Just register at our website at www.evergreendigital.com.ng. Today, we'll be creating a thin track project in Power BI. We would like to know you, so you can drop a comment on your location, tech skill, and proficiency level. Let's welcome our beautiful speaker, Miss Flourish. She's a data analyst, a dashboard specialist, and she will be showing us how to create these beautiful projects you can see on the screen. Over to you, Miss Flourish.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me. This is actually a very big privilege. Thank you, Evergreen Digital Tech, for this opportunity, and I'm really excited about this um, project. So first off, let me quickly share my screen, okay? And we'll get started right away. Okay, very good. So I believe everyone can see my screen, right? All right, very good. So let me move this to the side. Now, before I move on, this project was actually, it was a challenge that was posted on LinkedIn, and we were asked to replicate the project. So this is actually the designer. All credits goes to her. This is her design, and we're asked to replicate it. So this is the dark mode version, and this is the light mode version. So back to my dashboard. This was the initial project that I created. Sorry, just some minutes. Very good. Very good. So this was the initial dashboard I created and uploaded on LinkedIn. So let's go straight to business, right? Now, what I did was, let me go back. Now, the reason why I have this on the same file is because all the measures I have created, everything is here. My data sets, pretty much everything is here. So I just decided to have it still on this same file. So now, starting with this project, I'm going to take you step by step. Now, this particular visual is just it's a shape, okay, and comparing with what it looks like here, obviously there is a black background, so I decided to replicate the same. Now on this left tab, I also put a shape there whereby I turned the rotations to 270 so it can align properly at the edges. Okay, so after that, what I did was that for the icons, now one important thing that I do is that for me to be able to get the colors correctly, right, I actually visit this website. It's called the Colored Code Picker. So now let me give you an example of what I do to get the exact color. Let's say I'm browsing and let's see. Very good. So now I'm going to go to the prototype of this project. Let me see. Let's say I pick this one now, yeah, which is a prototype. And I hover around it and I click on it. Now, can you see that it has generated exactly the same color? So now I use this hex code, and it also provides the hex code. That's one beautiful thing I like about this website. So it gives me exactly the color I'm looking for, and then I just replicate the same thing. So now let's say for our wallpaper background, which is white, From here, it doesn't really look white. So let's just say I hover around it and I click. Now I'm getting this color. I take this hex code, come back to my BI, and here, very good. So now as you can see, our wallpaper color has been changed. Now for this menu text, what I used is buttons. So I used the regular blank buttons and I add text to it. And let me show you an example. Let's say for this one now. Very good. For this one, I increased the border, the rounded corners to 70 px. And aside that, I add icons to them. So another reference to sites, I get my icons from the Flaticon website. So now after getting my icons, what I do to be able to change the icons, because most times you either get the icons on black or white. So immediately I get my icons, I bring them to this website. So now this particular website helps me change my icon color to whichever I want. Okay. So now that's how I actually change my icon colors. Now this is going to be a lot of work. So I just decided to I had to just pick directly from the previous dashboard that I created and then replicate the same thing here. So that I won't wait so much time. So let me quickly go back. Okay, now we are going to start the visualization step by step. So let me quickly paste. Now I'm going to take on my insert, I'm going to have a shape, okay? And I'll drag it here. It's not too close. And okay, I'll drag it here. Now what I'm going to do is to increase the rounded corners, okay? Sorry, I always have to come back here for referencing because this is what I'm trying to replicate. So rounded corners, I won't have it so much. Now for the colors of the rounded corners, right? I am coming back here, coming back to this side. Okay, and I hover around it and I get this color. Now I'm going to take this hex code, switch off my borders, and then very good. Now I think we are getting somewhere. So what I'm going to do is to copy this. I'll paste it into 4 places. Okay. So let's have this here and here and also here. Now the main thing is to be able to align it properly. So considering the space between here, I would try to move this a bit closer and this as well and this. Okay, very good. So I'm going to start with this one for now. Now from the actual, let me use this, from the actual template that we have balance. Since it's a financial FinTrack, since it's a FinTrack dashboard, we have a balance, we have savings, we have income, and we have expenses. Okay, now starting with these cards, originally what I did was to randomly create these data sets with Python. I created this data set with Python and I had to categorize everything based on what I have seen on the prototype of the dashboard. So now what I've done is that like I mentioned, I've created most of the measures already while working on the project. So it is way easier to have everything here. If not, we are actually going to stay long. So now we're going to start with balance, right? Now this is the balance folder. Most times what I do is that I prefer to have my measures arranged in a very clean manner. So I mostly arrange everything based on their folders. So this is my balance measure folder. Now what I'm going to do is to get this new card. Okay, going to get this new card and I'll have my balance there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is to have the call out value. I'm going to be very much specific on the call out value, and better still, sorry, I'll turn off background. Okay, I'll turn off background. I'll also come to the cards here, turn off background, and also turn off the borders. So what I will do is to, let's use this color for the call out value. Okay, and I'm going to come here and change this to none so that I can get the full figure. Okay, now we also have the label. So I'm also going to change the color label. Let me use the same color as well. Very good. So looking at it, the font size is quite large. So I'm going to come here. Let's say leave it at 30. Now I'm thinking, because we would be having a spark line, it would be easier to increase the shape. So let me move this a bit. Let me increase this a bit. Okay. Let's see what. Okay. Okay, now I think this is better. So I'm going to reduce this. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is that going back to it, we can see that there are reference labels here. And aside that, if you notice, most times when a reference label is going like low, the color changes. But based on this design, everything is green, regardless of the directions of the arrows. So already what I've done is to I've already created reference. Sorry, I've already created like a measures. So now for my arrow, this is the DAX measure that I use for my arrow, and where I get my Unica codes from is excuse me, is from the Vertex website. So when you visit this website, there are different Unica codes. Very good. Here are some. So you can just pick whichever one suits your project and pretty much whichever one you like. But then this is where I get my Unica code from. So these are the Unica codes I picked, and already what I'm trying to calculate is the balance percentage in change. That's for like the previous month. So I've calculated everything here. So now what I'm going to do is I will drag this here, Okay, so now we're getting something. This is actually a divider. So what I would do is to go back to all. Okay, I'll go back to all. I'll turn off the divider. Okay, turn off the divider. Then I'll come back here to balance, and then I will turn off the title because there is the balance arrow title connected to it. Now what I'll do is to give my arrow, let's say, a good green color. Yeah, yes, you can see this is it. So let's increase this to, let's say, 17. Let's increase it to 17. Let me take it a bit. Okay, so I think this is okay. All right, so now after I have my arrow, the next thing I'm going to do is to get the actual percentage. Okay, so let's go back, still under our reference label. I'm going to be more specific on the balance arrow so I can add a detail. Now, whenever you add a detail, the detail comes beside whatever you have added here as the first reference label. So let me turn on detail. Now, our detail is going to be what? It is going to be balance percentage change. So I've added my balance percentage change. Let me change the color. Beautiful. So I'm going to increase the size a bit so that it can be more visible. Let me stretch this. Okay, very good. So now, next thing I'm going to do is, from the visual, there is always, there is a spark line. Actually, there's a spark line. So now my spark line is actually an SVG. Okay, this is the SVG, and where I get my SVG from is from the Kerry Colosco website. So now there are already SVG templates that you can get your SVG from. Okay, let's scroll, scroll. So this is actually the SVG I used. Now what I did was to just tweak it a little so that I don't have this circle at the end. But this is actually the SVG I used to have this because it is giving this nice gradients, and it's pretty much similar to what I have here. So this is the SVG I used, right? Now what I'm going to do is, under this new card, we have, let's say I select balance. Okay, now I'm going to turn on image and then switch to image URL. Now under this conditional formatting, let's say I type spark spark. So since we are working with balance here, balance, we're going to use the balance spark line. And okay, so let me increase the size a bit. Okay, very good. Now, okay, I think things are getting to shape. Increase it a bit so that it can be. Okay, I think this is okay for now. So I'll have to, let me just delete this so that I can get exactly what I have there. Okay, so I'm going to take these shapes and have them here. So I'm just going to leave it like this just in case there are any adjustments I need to make later on, but just have this for now. So let me move this up a bit. Beautiful. And I'll bring this below. So now what I'm going to do is to copy. I'm just going to copy and paste it so you can speed up time, okay? Let me copy and paste this. Now, from what we have here, we have income, okay, which is the next one. So for income, let's come here. Excuse me, income. Okay, okay. Now I'm going to be more specific on income and we'll give it a nice gray. For the display unit, set it to none. For the layout, okay, very good. So now I'm just going to quickly do what we did here already. So let's go over it again. Under reference label, we would have our income arrow. Okay, we'll have our income arrow, and I'm going to turn off the title. And for the value, still give it the same green. Okay, and I'm going to increase it to the size to 17. Then I'll still come back here, go to income and turn on details. Okay, so under details, the next thing I'm going to have is the income percentage change. So I'll drag it here, change the color to this nice gray, and let's increase the size a bit. Very good. So next thing we would do is to have our spark line. So we come under image. Under image, we'll go to income, turn this on, be more specific on the image URL. Okay, since we are using SVGs, which are scalable vector graphics. Scalable yeah, scalable vector graphics actually. So now we are going to have our spark. Very good. Aha. Now I'm going to increase this to, okay, this is quite large. So let me see if I can take it down to like 190. It's still not okay. 180. Okay. Take it to 160 so everything can fit into. All right, very good. So now next thing I would do is come back here. So we have savings. Now I'm going to still copy this again. I'm just trying to make this really quick. So right, what we are doing next is savings. Now I'm going to close this folder just and then go to our savings folder. So I'm going to exit this and activate our savings. Now we'll go over this again. Savings, and under our values, I'm going to have this nice gray again and set it to none. Okay, now the label as well. I'm going to set it here. Okay, so we also have, we pretty much have reference labels for all of them. So I've also created, yeah, I've also created this measure as well. All of them are pretty much the same thing, calculating based on the savings percentage. So whichever savings percentage it is, there's going to be a change to the arrow's position. So what I'm going to do next is to have this. Very good. Now turn off the title and have this same nice green. Increase the size a bit. Now come to savings. Okay, very good. Then I'm going to turn off the image as always. And image URL is just the same thing with the ones we've done already. So since this is a bar, I saved it as a bar. So nice. Let me see size that would be okay. Yeah. So now for this bar as well, it is also, where is it? It is also an SVG. It is also an SVG that I created. And well, what I did was to make it fit into what I'm looking for. So for this one, I got it from this template too. So this is also an SVG template site. Very good. Now this is the one I used for my bar, this composite cut. So now should I increase this a bit? Oopsies, made it even smaller. Okay. Now what I'll just do is to just okay. I'll just leave this here for now. So we can move on. Then the next thing I will do is have this here. Very good. So for this one, expenses. Very good. Now for expenses, let me quickly copy this and paste. Have it here. Okay. Now I'm going to close this. Okay. Come to my expense measure folder. Pass this. And we do the same thing over again like the others. So come to expense and we have our nice gray. Set it to none. For the labels, I'll do the same thing. Okay. Now, our reference label. So for this one, now the thing with this donut chart was that what I had to do was to, while trying to increase the size on my visual, it was how do I describe it? it was reducing the size of my values. So what I did was to have it on a separate card and then bring it to this card and group it together. But before I do that, let me quickly have our arrows here. Turn off the title. Set our green, make it 17. And okay, so we'll turn on our detail and we'll pass in this in, change the color, increase the font a bit. Yep, so this is it. Now, let's see. Let me show you an example of what or better still, if it works fine, then I will just leave it like that. But then I was having a bit of issues having that particular SVG here. But let me show you what I'm saying. Now, since I used a gauge, just type here. Is it expense gauge? Okay, let me go back. Type pen. Okay, very good. Now this is what I was talking about. And I haven't even increased it yet. Or let's see, make it 30. Okay, let's make it 80. Uh, hmm. let me make it- Okay, so if you should notice, it is bringing so much space between the call out value and these reference labels. So I didn't want to have it on this card anymore. So what I did was to just take it out, have it on a separate card, and then group the cards together. So let me just copy this one and do the same thing. Okay, so uh, let me just leave this. We turn off the values, turn off the labels, close this. Okay, and then come here. Now turn this on. Very good. Aha. So now I'm bring this here. I think I would increase it a bit. Let me increase the size. I'll make it 90 too much. Let me see if I think 190 is too large. So I would just set it to, let me just leave it at 170. Very good. And then now there is a percentage in the middle, so which is the actual percentage change, right? Yeah, which is the no percentage display. Very good. So I'll also have that on a card. Let's say I just have it on a normal simple card. Very good. So I'm going to turn off the labels and turn off our background. So let me reduce this. Let me quickly reduce the font size. Let me make it 25. Yeah. So I will have it here. Mhm. Beautiful. Okay, so what I'll do after this is to come to my selection pane where I can see everything that I've created. Now I'm going to group each of these to the shapes behind them. Okay, now let me this. Okay, yeah. So I'll have this, this, this. Okay, and then I would group them together. And let me just call this experiment group. Okay. Now it's the same thing I'll do for all of them, but considering time, let me quickly move to the next. Uh, okay, so we have our financial statistics. Beautiful. Now, if we should notice, these are rounded cornered bar charts. Okay, these are rounded cornered bar charts. So what I'm going to use is, let me quickly get the shape. I have this shape here. Okay, let me stretch this a bit. Stretch this a bit as well. Okay, very good. So what I'm going to do is to drag in a clustered column chart. Okay, let me have a clustered column chart here. Now, from our data set, I'll be using what is in the overview. So from the overview now, we have our income, we have expenses, because from here we have income, we have expenses. So I created a data set for it, and let me drag our income to the y-axis. Okay, and our expenses, the x. Then the final thing that I'm going to be I'm going to be adding is this calculated column, which is a month abbreviation. So it's just to have just the first three letters of each month. So what I'm going to do is to drag this here. Please. Um, very good. So now, okay, now let me move back and come back to format so we can format this quickly. So I will switch off the background and turn off the title for now. Then for the legend, I would change the text to this usual gray that we have. And for the position, I'll be moving it to the right. Very good. Now I don't need a title because from what we have here, we don't have a title. We just have what color stands for which and all that. So I turn off the title. Okay. Now let's see. So our y-axis and x-axis are active. So I will come here, turn it on a bit, and do the same for this. So, very good. So I'll turn off titles. We don't need the titles on. Let me come here and turn off titles too. Okay. So, okay. So now for us to be able to have the rounded corners, right? What we will do is to have, so I created just a baseline, which is just a dummy number, dummy data set, just a little one with the number X. Okay. So sorry, with the number 0. So now what I'm going to do is that the exact color of these shapes, right? Let me get the fill color again. Very good. So this is the fill color of the shapes. Now what I will do is to make sure that I change the colors of these uh, columns. So now for this one, change it to this. Very good. Then I'll do the same for income as well. So now it looks blank, but everything's there. Okay. The next thing I would do is to come to my error bars. I'll come to my error bars, and for my upper bound, which is, if you notice, we're under, okay, yeah, we anyone, we can, let me start with the income. So now under income, it will be on my upper bound, and then baseline will be on my lower bound. So now I'm going to enable this. Now, as you can see, we have some little error bars there. Now, what I'm going to do is to, let me quickly come here, come to this side, and then let's say, okay, we want this color. Come back here. So from here, income is this color. So I'm going to change this to this, and then let me increase the width, and then also make the borders the same color. Okay, so I can also increase the color, the border, sorry. And then we'll add a marker. Very good. So if I should zoom a bit, let's say I zoom this. If you can see the tiny rounded markers, let me increase, let me make it 7. Okay. So now we have our rounded corners. Now I'm going to do the same thing for for our expense. Okay. We have this here, and we have our baseline. Now don't forget to enable this so that we can have what we are looking for. Then for the bars, I would, let me see, is there a specific color that was, let's do this. Okay, take this color, come back, apply it here. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing. I believe it should be the same color with the borders. So now I'll do this and then come to our markers again. Then I would increase it to 7. Very good. Okay. Okay. All right, so let me see. Okay, no, so now for the legend, the colors are not showing because we initially, remember that what we did was to change the colors, so it just match up with the background color, and what we want to do is to make it match. So what I did was to let me sorry. Let me have this. So the names can change from here and do the same for this as well. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, very good. So now the tricky thing is that since the colors have already changed, what I shapes. So under here, I just pick a very tiny shape. Okay, so it can match each of the colors. So it is really small. Let me zoom so it can be better. I lost track of the. Okay, yeah. So let me drag this here. Okay, and then I make it really tiny. Bring it here. Close by. And come to my format. Change the. I don't need the borders on. So I'll have this color for it. Copy and have it here too. So and then have this as well. So now that was the tricky thing I did with my legends. Uh, yeah. In fact, I think what I did was to even have it as a text because it was even closer. But then let me see. Okay, let me take this high a bit. Okay, so for the legend, oh yeah, couldn't increase the. So because there is too much space between, what I did was to just have them as normal text. But then at least I've shown how I've done it here. So you can just have it as a text box or something and just place it there. But at the end of the day, what you still do is to group each of them to the shape so that once it is clicked on, it's going to be like it's a single visual on its own. So let me just quickly move to the next thing, which is, oh yeah, I didn't put a title. For the title, it can also be a text box, sorry, to also be a text box that says financial statistics, and that's it. Now for this, which is our recent activities, let me come here and have this. So since we are dealing with trend, we'll use a line chart. Okay, use a line chart. So from our data, we have, oh yeah, we have recent activities. So now for the recent activities, I'm going to be working with amount only. Okay, let me close this for now. I'm working with amount. Now the amount is going to be, and we'll also have our month abbreviation. Okay, okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing with what I did with the previous chart. So one thing I always do is that most times I turn off the background color. Most times I don't really need them. So I'll turn it off. And also from this visual, I tried to replicate this grid line, but oh, it was something else. So what I just did was to turn off the grid lines entirely. I just turned everything off. Okay. Now, the color, the shade area. Let's come to, let me select transparency. Sorry. Let me quickly uh, make this bright. Mm-hmm. And also for axis. So I'll turn off title. Okay. I'll also turn off title for this as well. I don't need the title on. Okay. So okay, now for the lines, we'll make it solid. Let me make this smooth. Okay, very good. Now it looks smooth, and for the color, we will give it the same color as this. Okay, nope, 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 nope. That's not the color. So let me just quickly get the color from here. Copy this and then paste it here. Very good. So now we have this, and I think there is a marker here, and I think I actually did that on this other page. So let me quickly see under markers. Since the highest month is in October, let me say I want it on October. Very good. We have a very tiny marker there, so I can increase the size of the marker, and I can also give it a white border so it can be a bit obvious that there's something there. Give it a pure white actually, and then I'll increase the width. Okay, very good. Sorry, I'm just trying to like show the main things. These I believe most of us can just kind of tweak and edit most of this. So let me quickly go to the next thing, which is okay. Yeah, I remember I actually had a figure here in this previous chart. So the figure that is there is just a whole number of the amount itself. Let me have this card. So we have this amount and turn this off. It just have it here. So most times you can always group them together. Let me turn off the label, take this to none so we can have the full value itself. Very good. So I'm just going to leave this here for now and then go to this slicer. So now looking at this slicer, I was thinking of how to handle the situation because it looks like once it is hovered on, there is either this edit icon or this delete or bin icon. And I was like, I didn't know how to start replicating that on Power BI. But I kind of had an idea and I was like, yeah, this looks like a slicer. So let me just quickly show how I worked on that. Okay, very good. Oh, sorry. Hmm. Very good. So let's say my slicer is going to occupy this place. Let me quickly go back to the actual dashboard that I created. Um, ah, very good. Okay, yeah. So having it, if you look at, I was trying to have exactly what was there, but just an accent bar. But I couldn't even try it. I was like, okay, hopefully in the future updates of Power BI, we should be able to do something like this. But then I'll just quickly show how I created that. So I'm going to use the new button slicer, okay? I'm going to use the new button slicer. Now, if you should notice, there are images on it. And one thing with Power BI is that Power BI only mostly recognize 64 base 64 images. So for the images, what I do to convert each of my images to base 64 is that I use this base 64 image website. I use this base 64 image website, and it converts everything to a link for me already, and then it's easy to use. So let me see. This is on the last transaction. So here is our last transaction data set, and I'm going to use the description. So now description carries their names, okay? Description carries their names. Oopsies, close this. Mistakenly clicked on it. Okay, so description carries the names. Okay, so these are just the names of those ones that the individual performed transactions with. So let me turn off. What I will do is to turn off the background. I'm going to turn off title too because I don't need it. And then, okay, yeah, symbol select is turned on. For the shape, let me just leave that for now. So I don't want it to be on a grid. I want it to be on a single column. So I'll have it like this. Okay, very good. So now I think it is coming to shape. On a single column, I would prefer to have, instead of three, I would say, let's say I want five. Okay, so I can expand this. I'll say I want five. Okay, so I have five on each. Now, let's see. The color looks exactly like the shape. So what I would do is for each individual button, the fill color should be this. Very good. And the border color should be, let me say, something a bit darker than this. Very good. I want something a bit darker. Now, let me go to the callout values, which are the names itself. I will turn this to this gray. Then I will turn on labels because if you notice under the actual
templates, there are little titles below. So I didn't really work on these ones. I just focused more on the first two. So under labels, what I will have is status. So the status will show if the transaction is pending or it has been completed or it has failed. So let me turn this. This.
Right. So I think my system is overloading, but let me just quickly focus instead of wasting time on that. Let me come to images. So now for the images, let me show you what it looks like after converting it to base 64. So on that last transaction, this is what it looks like. So the larger the size of the image, the longer the link. So this is what it looks like after converting each image to base 64. So I added it as a column. I added it as a column. So let me come back here, and then it is under the image URL. So I'll drag it here. Okay, very good. So instead of it being on fill, I'll turn it to normal. Okay, but then the images are still looking a bit tiny, so let me ignore okay, no, ignore paddings because of the size. So I will take my images to the left. Okay, very good. So I have my images to the left. uh, Next thing I will do, let me take a look. Okay, there are spaces here. So let me see on that image. Let me make the size to be 18. Okay, and then this to be 9. So it's just pretty much increasing like spaces between the title and the image. Sorry, between the color value, I mean, and the image. So now to give that hover effect, right? Let me come back to my call out value, and under from default I'll take it to hover. Okay, so now when I hover over any of these slicers, I want the images to move to the right. Okay, so let me try this and see. Okay, yeah, oopsie, sorry. Then let me quickly on the sorry. I want to change because when I hover it's giving this white and I don't want that. So let me make this to have the same thing. So let me see. Okay, very good. Now it's working fine. So I would want the borders to have this color. So let me see, I hover around it. Okay, yeah, I'm having this tiny color. So now, since it's working for the colored values, I'm going to do the same thing for the images as well. Okay, and for the images, under hover, right? Let me pass in the image URL column again. Okay. Now, what I want to do is to set it as background. So when you set it as background, okay, very good. Now it is working fine. It was working fine. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to quickly increase, I'm going to turn on the accent bars. And I think the maximum width for an accent bar is 40 px. That's the maximum. But then let me make sure that this is under hover. Okay, yeah, it's under hover. So I'm going to change the color to this as well. So very good. Now I'm getting it. Let me see, for the rectangle, it's just pretty much to just cover out the edges. Yeah, rounded edges. So if I see rounded edges, I can, let me see how round it is. I can take it down a bit to, I think this should be okay. I think this should be okay. Very good. So, oh yeah, let me see. Uh, the label still hasn't changed colors yet. Let me try it one more time again and see. Oh, interesting. But then to be able to change the labels below, it's just to, sorry, to change the color of the labels below is just to do the same thing. But then at least I believe most of us have learned how to make this functionality work. So let me see the next thing. Okay, so there's a view all button there. So let me see. Since our time is running, I would I will quickly show how I did that pop-up. Okay. Sorry, just trying to reduce this a bit. Okay, yeah, so I will show how I did the pop-up, and I can't really start creating the table that I use for the pop-up right now. But then I'll show you how I created the pop-up. Let me just Control S. Okay, so for the pop-up, right? For the pop-up, I used a shape. Okay, for the pop-up, I used the shape. So now we'll have a nice blue background for the pop-up, and let me see. I turn off the borders and I will make the color. Let me just make it this gray, increase the transparency a bit. Okay, yeah, probably this is okay. Very good. So I have this. Now, after having this shape, the next thing I will do is to have another shape right on top of it. Okay, very good. So now this was where I inserted the table. The table is just uh, I believe we can do that ourselves. Let me make this, turn this. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to have my close button. So I'll insert a blank button. And this blank button now, I'm going to have, okay, yeah, turn off further. So I'm going to custom so I can get the close button from, let's see, I think I have it here.
Hmm. Okay, so let me just use this one as my close button. Okay, I'll just use this as my close button, even though this is not a close button, but I just want to show how I made that functionality work. So we'll just use this one as an example for now, since I can't really find the icon. But then let me close this data here because we don't need it. Now, as you can see, I have this in order. Now, what I'm going to do is to group all of them together. Um, let's call it, let's call this group. Okay. So now I would use this. Excuse me. So now what I would do is to create a bookmark. Okay. I'm going to create a bookmark and call this uh, for- just call this open. Okay, I'll call this open and I'll close this. Create a bookmark. This close. Okay, so now let me open this. Let me open this. Now you will turn off data. Okay, because bookmarks can actually be very funny. But then what I'll do is that I don't want all the visuals, okay? I want just selected visuals, which is these ones, okay? Now come to selected. Very good. Current page, please. Oopsies. Oopsies. I think I was messing with the other buttons. Okay, so I'll just have this display current page and selected visuals. So now what I'm going to do is to make sure that I'm clicking these visuals that I've grouped together. I'll make sure that I've selected them. As you can see, it's selected green. Then I will come here and update. I'll update this open. Okay. Now the next thing I will do is to close it. After closing it, I would remove this to selected visuals again as well. Then I'll make sure that I have selected these ones that are grouped, even though they are closed, but I'll still select them. Now I'll update this. Okay, I'll update this. Now the next thing I will do is to insert a I would insert a blank button and drag it here. Okay, now let me just format this. Turn on the text now. So my text is going to say view all. And okay, very good. So now we have our button here. So now under this button, what I will do is to first it is meant to show my selection. Sorry.
refresh. Let me just quickly refresh everything so that hopefully I can select that particular box. Just create another one on top of it. Sorry, this won't be done, okay? In fact, I think this is the last one I'll be working on. For the other cards, for for the card, there's nothing functioning here. It's just like dots there, okay? Okay, so I think something is happening. Okay, it was inside here. Okay, now I get it. I don't want it inside this group, so I'll take it out of this. Just place it here. Very good. I'll just place it out. I actually didn't realize it was inside these grouped visuals. So let me turn on action, okay? And then I will pass in bookmark. Now under the bookmark, I will pass in open, okay? Then I will open this, and under this our close button, I would, let me quickly add bookmark and add close, okay? Now since I have added it, let's see if it's working fine, okay? Oh yeah, it's working fine. So let me close. Okay, great, it's working fine now. So this is how I created the pop-up. I'm sorry, creating the table is, I mean, I'm sure most of us can create table. Let me just quickly go back to the initial dashboard so that I can just quickly pick up those other visuals. Okay, very good. So now let me, okay, very good. So now this is just, it is the normal table we use, okay? So I'm sure most of us will be able to edit this. I just wanted to show how I did the pop-up. So now the next thing is this card. This card, right? I was able to create this card on Canva. Okay, it's just a, I went to Canva, just tried to create something briefly, and then I did that. So I passed it in as an image. Okay, I passed it in as an image. So everything here is just dummy. Everything here is just dummy too, and basically everything. Those ones are just sitting there. So should I? Let me see. Let me take this. This. I'll bring it here. And okay. Okay, let me just quickly change the fill to, yep. Okay, so please don't worry. I'll just leave it like this, okay? I'm sorry, I'm trying to beat time. So the next thing I would do is remember the buttons that I used to switch between light mode and dark mode. Let me just quickly do that. But then I would. The thing is, we won't be doing the light mode and dark mode today because that's another long process again. But then I will be sorry. I'm going to use a button slicer. I would be sharing this file. I'll be sharing this file to everyone that is in this workshop today. Since I won't be able to finish up with the light mode, yeah, with the light mode, we'll just focus on dark mode. So I'm going to share the file at the end of the day. But let me just quickly show how I did the buttons, okay? So what I did was to create, let me show you from the table here. I created a table called mode. So this is what I use to be able to switch between light mode and dark mode, depending on the shape, the title, whatever it is, okay? So now I also created these icons, which I also had to convert to base 64 images, okay? So since I've passed in my slicer, let me go to the mode. Oopsies. Oh my goodness. Um, hello? Sorry, please. I think I'm going off very soon. Jacinta, are you there? Hello? Please, I would be sharing the files. I'm having a little bit of a challenge here, so my system will be going off. Hello?
I'm here. Okay, so we lost her, but she was able to finish most of the project. For those asking for the data set and the website and the file that she used, we're going to share everything on the description box. And for those of you in our WhatsApp community, we'll also drop it there. So if you're a beginner in data analysis and you would like to register to learn resource, so do reach out to us. You can WhatsApp our number. It's also in the description box, or you can register on the website and I'll reach out to you. If you have any question, please do well to drop it in the comment section and we're going to attend to as much as we can. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are excited to have you here. I hope you did learn a lot because you can see that that project, she did a lot of hard work and a lot of research to bring it to life. So I hope you had so much fun replicating this dashboard. See you next time. Bye.